What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're in the office today. We're not in the boat or on the water, which is pretty unusual for this channel because usually we're on the water fishing or doing a catch, clean, and cook. But today we are in the office and I'm gonna be showing you how I personally maintain my fishing reels. Some of you guys may know this, some of you don't, so I'll let you know that maintaining reels is something I do on a regular basis. I'm a full-time charter captain here at Anna Maria Island, Florida. And I'll tell you what, guys, maintenance on reels is definitely essential when it comes to fishing, but especially saltwater fishing. So just keeping that reel lubed up and maintained, I'm gonna be showing you just a few simple things that I like to do on a regular basis that I think elongate the life expectancy of these reels. If this is your first time viewing one of my episodes, guys, I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Please consider subscribing. We do a ton of fun stuff here. We do maintenance videos, as well as the majority of this channel is fishing and reel screaming action. So to keep that reel screaming, that's why we're here. I'm gonna show you guys just a few tips on what I like to do to maintain these bad boys. First and foremost, you guys can see this line's kind of hanging off of here, and you can kind of put it inside this little pin here to hold it out of the way. But since we're maintaining today, the first thing I like to show you guys is something I like to do to basically get the old line off. And I'm gonna show you guys a trick that I like. Well, this is not really a trick. Some people know it, some people don't, but this is what I like to do. Just wrap it right along there. You wanna keep it loose so it kind of grabs. And I'm not sure if you see that grabbing right there. We're gonna go full blast with it. All right, now that we got all the line off this reel, one thing I would like to point out is that a little trick that I learned along the way, all this line has been used and reused and flipped and twisted, and just any which way I could have used this line, I did. Now, when you reel line onto a reel or you guys refill the spools, the good line's always underneath. So sometimes you want to take into consideration that you might want to put a spool on here, and you want to take off all that bad line and just reel back on the good line. Something else I like to do with the line is I like to peel it all off, like all the old line or all the stuff that's been worn and torn by the salt water or fresh water, either one. But then stop it, and then I'll do like a uni knot since the line's gonna be the same size anyways. But just a tip, that kind of makes things a lot faster for tearing the line off the reel. The next thing that we're gonna be getting into is something I think is overlooked a lot on reels, and that is the little freewheel. That's something pretty essential to lube up, because that line, you essentially want that to turn. You don't want your line just sliding on that, and the way to prevent that is there's a little screw right here. Let's take that little screw out right here. It's a little bearing right there. And what you want to do is you want to take this lube just like this and just literally put a drop and kind of free spin it just like that. That'll allow this to stick right back on there. You slide it right back in place, and you just screw that screw right back into that slot. Very simple, but super effective when it comes to lubing that, because then it's gonna always be turning when that line goes through there. And when that drag is screaming, your line's not gonna slide. The bearings are actually gonna roll. So that's a huge tip. Right in here to the gear case body, what I like to do, or on this reel specifically, it's for most reels, but you actually turn this clockwise to untwist it as if you're reeling backwards. There's 3 little easy screws, pretty much the same on most reels, but I'm gonna be showing you guys one thing that I'd like to share with you guys in this episode is this stuff, and this stuff is awesome. And what I'm gonna be doing is leaving those linked in the description below. On knowing when to do it, I actually calculate it right in sync with my 100-hour service on my engine of my boat. So every time I do my oil changes on my boat, my lower gear case lube, I'll fit my reels in as well, just to give me some kind of time frame as when. So every 100 hours on the water, I'm lubing my reels. And one thing I do not recommend using when dealing with these, when you're dealing with these reels, I do not recommend using a power tool for the reel itself, because these screws and bolts and stuff, these can easily be stripped. And by the way, if you're wondering what reel this is a reel that I use on a regular basis. This is a Penn Battle. The 3000s and the 4000s I love the most, both inshore and nearshore fishing. Catch a ton of jumbo mangrove snapper on them. And the life expectancy is really insane for the price point. I'll go ahead and link this reel in the description below too, just in case you're interested in checking it out. But these reels are awesome. So as you can see right here, we're inside the gear case of the reel itself. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be using the grease. This is Penn grease that I like to use. And as you can see, this thing looks pretty old. And the reason why it looks old is because you don't really need that much. You just need to lube it up enough. I like to hit each gear with a little bit of lube. You don't have to like overflow it like this. These aren't like trailer bearings where they're, you know, being saturated in salt water every day. But you just want enough. There's also a little bearing right here that it's pretty essential. And with that bearing specifically, I actually like to hit that bearing with a little bit of this, a little oil. Again, just one drop, it does the trick, not that much. And then you can actually just turn it like this. And that'll just work that grease in there. And as you can see, I'm not sure if you noticed before, but it was actually squeaking a little bit before, and now it's actually already rolling smooth. That's another sign that you might want to take into consideration, is that when your reel is squeaking, that is an indication that it's time to lubricate the reel. All right, and just like that, we'll go ahead and put that cap back on and put it back together. Not trying to state the obvious here, but you know, the obvious is sometimes overlooked. So that's one of the reasons why I'm posting this video. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know, you can learn something. Shoot, I'll learn something new every day. So with the reels, you just want to go one step at a time. You don't want to take this apart and then start taking this apart. Just go one step, one section at a time. Make it super easy on you just to put it all back together. You don't want to take it all apart and then forget which bearing, which washer goes where. That's a pretty big tip. Pro tip, because I do it all the time, and also because unfortunately, just basically learned from my mistakes. I made the mistake of learning the wrong way. So use that to your advantage. See that? All nice, tight, put back together perfectly. The last place that we're gonna look into here, I'm gonna show you the last thing that we're gonna do this reel, and I would call this reel fully geared up and maintained. But before we go on to that next step, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together. And here we're turning it as if you're really reeling this. Pretty simple. So boom, just like that. Nice and smooth, very, very smooth. All right, so next, the last place that we're gonna look into is the drag system. You're just gonna fully unwind the drag. This is pretty common on all reels. Like, this is not like complicated. Actually, you know what? After this, I'm gonna show you one more little section that you wanna look into and you don't wanna overlook. So look at that, just like that. You just take the top off. Now you're in the drag system. There's actually, in this one, there's like 4 little holes. Not sure if you can see that. There's 4 little holes right there. And if you touch that with just a drop of grease on each one of those holes, you're gonna be golden, just like that. And you should be good to go. Let's put that back on, and I'll show you my very last thing that I like to do. Flip it right over. We're gonna take this back screw off, or this back bolt. And as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see that, but deep down inside of there, there is actually another bearing. And we're gonna hit that with a little bit of oil. Put 1 drop of oil, just kind of go around one time, just like that. Like I said, you don't have to over exaggerate how much you put in there. You don't have to pack it with grease or anything like that. You don't want the reel to be compromised, but at the same time, I'm gonna lube everything up to maintain it right. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, or at least consider subscribing. And not only that, leave a comment in the comments below if there's anything that you think that I should do an informative YouTube video on next. Let me know in the comments below, whether it be rods, reels, you know, boat maintenance, whatever. I'll be happy to try to incorporate it into the videos to come. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you next time.